3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to Grounds After Rounds.
We're in it.
Hi. Yeah. 3, 2.
No, you don't say the 2. We've been over this before. We'll
Dang
start with
it.
5.
Right.
5, 4, 3. You don't mouth it because you're mouthing it. They see.
They can see every time, folks. Every single time. Hey, did you see that I used
I saw that.
the sticker you gave me like 3 years ago?
I remember thinking it's like. I remember I saw it the other day and I was like, has that always been on there? Am I just noticing
Took
it?
forever. I found it
Yeah.
in my little notebook that I carry
Yeah.
around. And I was like, oh, that's right. He gave
Well,
me
I know
this.
you don't like putting stickers on things too. Like I think
I don't like putting stickers on my car,
on your car.
but I did put I put the Fairwinds one
Do you
on
have
there.
the sticker or the magnet or something?
I think we have the magnet. That's a remnant of Carol Ryan upbringing. Hated bumper stickers.
Yeah.
Because what you end up getting is the back of Morgan's Jeep, which I'm just so confused. What's the message I'm supposed to be taking here? What's the narrative you're giving me with your bumper stickers? But hey, it works for her, right?
It's funny. Like I don't mind because I had a couple on the truck, which is no longer ours anymore.
Oh, you sold it. Congrats.
We sold it to Ed, so Kim's husband.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's still in the family, which
Yeah.
was kind of important. Like it was important, it wasn't because that was Meg's
So your
dad.
dog,
That was Meg's dad.
Cakes stayed in the family, and the truck has stayed in the family.
Yeah, which is now, but it's one of those things too, where it's like I don't have a thing anymore. Like it's like the truck was like even though it was like Meg's dad's truck, it was
people knew that truck.
Well, it's also like Meg never drove it. Like it was mine, right?
Oh, I got you.
I was like, now I have the Escape, which again, first world problems, right? Like that's my car now is the Escape, but it's like it's small. Like I get to drive. I don't get to drive. Sorry, if Meg does not run the house with like an iron fist, but there is like
Keep telling yourself.
But it's not the most fuel efficient vehicle on the road.
The Escape is or the truck?
No, the Sequoia. Well, the truck was
the big
the
one,
Sequoia.
the new
So like
Sequoia.
I remember I had asked Meg. I said, "Hey Meg," we had maybe had it for like 2 weeks. I was like, "Hey Meg, I need to run the grocery or something. It's like, do you mind if I take the Sequoia?" And she was just like, "We're just gonna be spending so much money on gas, blah blah blah." I'm like, you know what? Never mind. Like, sorry I asked. It's like right there. You know what? I could walk. I'll just walk. Like I'll just walk. And so it's like, but it's the Everett seat is in the Sequoia. So if we go anywhere with Everett,
you going in the
Sequoia.
Sequoia.
Now Fee has a seat in both cars, so it is what it is. Like I take Fee to camp in the one car.
I saw something
like,
a booster that I hadn't seen where it's just a folding thing, and then it unfolds and the kid just sits on it, so it just raises them up a little bit, and then the seat belt
loops through it.
Yeah, so it's basically it's not the safest or sturdiest.
No, but it's probably one of those like when a kid is once they're at a certain age,
you can chuck it in a backpack, and you can go wherever.
Yeah,
or you can travel with it on a plane or something. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Or now hear me out. This generation's getting a little soft. I think we just go back to letting them sit in the back seat. Regular seatbelt.
Seatbelts. We didn't wear seatbelts.
I know. I'm trying to find a happy medium.
My dad used to have a red Ford Astro. Do you remember? No, GMC Safari. It was a GMC Safari.
Okay.
But and he had the seats out most of the time because he was doing like fireplace work and stuff.
Yeah.
And so we used to sit in the back. This was on the way home from swim practice, or it was snowing, and he called it the big red sled. And he would drive so fast down the road, slam on the brakes, and just fishtail. And we would go bam, bam in the back like fucking ping pong balls. That was the game.
So.
Red sled, red sled, red sled, red sled.
You turned out great.
Right? Head trauma or two, whatever. It's all good.
So my dad had I don't know that much about cars, but he had a Porsche.
Porsche or Porsche?
It's Porsche, and I say this, and I laugh every time I hear someone say Porsche. I have this friend of mine who I was the best man at his wedding. When we were in like 4th or 5th grade, his dad had a Porsche, and some kid called it a Porsche, and he goes, "It's Porsche. Only poor people call it Porsche." And I'm like, tearing up like from like laughing because I remember him saying that, and I've never let him live that down. So if anyone ever calls it a Porsche, I'm like, Brian, tell him.
Dumb.
Right. And,
Ouch.
but he had a Porsche, and so it had like a back seat that wasn't really a back seat, and it was like a hatchback or whatever in the
Yeah.
back. And there's this road by our house called Bell Branch that, I mean, it is a windy road. Like the speed limit on it's 25, but if you know the road well enough, you can go 50,
moving.
and I'll do it. And but we would be
Don't
in the
tempt me.
back.
Is that where Travis Pastrana? Is that one of the roads he went down?
It's right off of it. Yeah. But yeah, we like my brother and I would be like back, not in the seat, but underneath the hatchback as he's going down Bell Branch. It's like, so again, please, Child Protection Services, don't come after our parents.
Put your kids in a booster seat. Put them in a car seat.
At least make them have a seatbelt on, right?
There you go.
They need at least a seatbelt. Once they get a certain size, just
I'm ready. I'm ready for the driving car, the self-driving car, right? I mean, come on. Why are we still on the road? This is ridiculous. I watch people and they're like eating and putting their cell phone, like,
I say a self-driving car can't be any worse.
On their cell phone, eating, watching YouTube, and then like stopping at the light, like, okay, that's good.
A self-driving car even can't be that much worse.
Yeah.
So interesting. Hey, so going into another thing, so the joke, oh, why can't you see an elephant hiding in a tree?
I forget why.
Because they're so good at it.
Oh, okay. Yes, I know.
Now, why do? Sorry, I had to tell you.
That's good because I don't have one, so that's the one.
Okay, good. I got 3. Why do elephants paint their balls red?
Why?
So they can hide in cherry trees. What is the loudest noise in the jungle or in the world?
Oh, yeah. What?
Giraffes eating cherries.
It was a good sequence. It was a good, like, you had like that was a good 3-parter.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think cherry trees grow in the jungles, and I'm not sure if giraffes eat cherries, and I don't know if elephants paint their balls red, but
all of that to be said,
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I heard that one. I was like, I couldn't wait to share it with you because, like, I think you've told me before. It's like, why do hippopotamus or rhinoceroses hide? Or something like that. May have been an elephant. Yeah, same joke.
Probably an elephant one.
Yeah, you originally told me that one, though.
Oh, I did?
Yeah. Well, the first part.
About the elephants hiding in trees.
Because they're so good at it. Yeah.
It's funny.
But anyway. Cool. Good.
So this week I thought it would be fun to talk about how well everybody did on those front squats.
Yeah.
5, 3, 3, 1, 1, 1. And
just go down.
The number goes down. The weight goes up.
Okay.
But what we had, I was very impressed. So like, I'll use a handful. So Joan hit like a 20+ PR on her
classic
single.
Joan.
Luis hit like a 25-pound plus PR in his single. Sam hit a 3-rep PR, but then kind of bonked on his singles. But it's okay, right? Like, so there across a lot, I think some people may have even hit 5-rep PRs, and then maybe at some point hitting PRs was not the goal of this,
right? But
yet it worked. It did. We did.
I've liked these because we did it with deadlifts recently. And I like these rep schemes because I feel like everyone finds a win in there somewhere. Like maybe they don't PR their 1 rep, but maybe it is their 5, maybe it is their 3. And so it's one of those like, hey, if you can PR 1.
And so I've been trying to think about it because a lot of people are like, well, I went back and I looked and we did a 3, 3, 1, 1, 1, blah, 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 and so it tells me my percentage. I should do like a 5. What percentage? And I've been very deliberate in saying, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop. So like, you are not a professional athlete.
No.
You have not been doing a deliberate 6-week progressive overload on the front squat. You've already been here twice this week. You're
one of those being a heavy day already.
Right. You're not even really tracking all of the other things that if those percentages mattered that you should be tracking. So why do you care about percentages? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm supposed to care about percentages. Exactly. So it's sort of that miscommunication of do what today feels like a heavy 5.
Yeah.
We warmed up correctly. It was great. People warmed up bodies, warmed up their brains, got everything tied in. Yeah. And when they did that and they trusted how they felt today, most went heavier than they've ever lifted before. A lot of athletes, maybe they didn't lift as heavy as they've ever lifted before, but man, they lifted better. Their depth was better. Their position on their elbows were better, like, right? And they built strength around the movement, and the load was there just to challenge the position.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about this, right? And it's this sort of like, well, duh. We have been following warm up and workout, Pat and Taz's programming for 9 months now, almost a year. We started it coming out of COVID when we came back in August. So it's been, I would say we are closing in on a year with them. They are quintessential GPP, general
100%.
physical preparedness. And by following that for almost a year, almost every single person in the gym, and I would argue probably everybody in the gym, is stronger, fitter, faster, healthier, and doing better at this thing called CrossFit.
Yeah.
And if they're not worse off.
And it may not feel like it to an
Right.
extent when you're in these workouts, because some of these workouts are just, but
And we haven't benchmarked a lot.
No.
Because they don't, like, they've showed that they're not very deliberate in benchmarking, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
So,
which this month is kind of, I think.
Yeah, I saw a couple. Yeah, but they're ones
and,
that we missed last time around.
Yeah.
So we don't have them.
Yeah.
Chewbacca is coming up. There was a couple other ones, but people. So like Sue was telling me, she ran her 5K faster than she's. Yeah. Like she PR'd a 5K and she hasn't run.
She's been a runner her entire life.
Right, and but like she had, and she was like, so. The conversation has come up numerous times of like, holy crap, this stuff's really working. And it's nice to hear. I was talking about with Julie and Sue and after one of the classes recently, and I PR'd my 1 rep power snatch on Monday or whenever we did it. Like, what?
Yeah, right.
Like that is crazy. And we have not snatched like that in forever. And I probably had another 5 pounds, but I walked away because I was like, just PR'd that by 5 pounds. It's ridiculous. Today's front squats, different story, but it has nothing to do with the programming. It has to do with me. I just had no gas and I just didn't feel like hurting. And so I didn't mess with it and I did something else. Yeah. But that's also like the fidelity of understanding how I feel with this programming is a new level of like, oh, all right. And the trust around just because it's not there today, let it go. Yeah. It'll be there the next day. And I've really enjoyed, I'm just surprised that I'm so surprised.
Right? Like every time.
At how good general physical preparedness training, when done correctly, 1 workout a day, 5 to 6 times a week with a appropriate and deliberate level of intensity for you as an athlete, where you are in your life, where you are in the season, where you are in a day, facilitates consistent long-term health improvements. Yeah. My knees don't hurt. My elbows don't hurt. I still sleep fine. I'm eating fine. Luis actually was funny. He goes, I'm down 10 pounds and he is PRing lifts.
His weight's going up.
He's like he's so looking forward to throwing that into the guys' faces that he works with, power lifters and Olympic weightlifters. Right. Oh, you need gains, man. You got to get mass up. You got to freaking bulk up if you want gains. And he's like, well, actually not. Now, granted, and he's actually starting to lift in the vicinity of them. Like these are guys that I think I don't know if I'm getting this right.
Let's say there is as a CrossFitter, there is a peak essentially, but
he's stringing together 2 and 3 bar muscle ups. He's walking across the floor on his hands, right? Like all of a sudden he's lifting more weight. He's moving faster. And he's now doing these gymnastic skills that he hasn't been able to do. And he is a 1.5 to 2 years of specific, deliberate work of just moving better and not getting wrapped up in doing like, oh, I got to do this cycle. I got to do this cycle. Right. No, it's just 5 to 6 times a week, moving better. Took a break of like really went down in weight and worked on movement rather than load. And it's just, so it's very cool to see, it's a 1 of 1, but there's at least a 6 other people that are in a very similar situation, if not on the same trajectory as him, maybe a couple months behind or maybe a couple
different
months
timeline.
ahead. Yeah. But alternate reality, right? Timeline, but on the same path.
Yeah.
Loki. But yeah, it's heartening, and I feel like we didn't need, and actually are better off not having to follow some prescribed, oh, you need to use this programming, you need to run your classes this way.
Right.
We found one that worked for us.
Yeah.
And fit our style. That
Yeah.
Does that where I'm going?
Yeah, totally. I think the vibe from them out of the get-go completely meshed with, I think, the environment that we've cultivated here. I think right there in the name.
Warm up and work out.
Warm up and work out. Like, it's not CompTrain, it's not Death Cycle.
Well,
it's
and
not...
that's right. And so here's the deal, folks. The last year, Eric made a good point, because we were trying to figure out what we want to talk about. And one of the other topics was CrossFit Home Office has changed its name from HQ to Home Office, which I actually kind of like. HQ is a very military, it's a military metaphor. And so they served military, LEO, law enforcement, but it's a very American kind of centric. It's an American centric company, or at least it was, but it is now a global company, CrossFit. Yeah. And so changing it to Home Office feels more in line with Eric Rose's sort of inclusive approach, which I respect and I like. And they've use the language that they're using, and
it's a little thing.
Okay, I like it. So the Home Office has pushed out 3 major changes in the last year to provide what they are calling more deliberate guidance to the 15,000 plus affiliates around the world. The first one were these regional affiliate representatives. George Dobbins is ours. He's up in Delaware, maybe?
So
I don't know.
He
does a weekly call Wednesdays and Thursdays. I've never dialed into them. I feel bad in a sense, because I'm a team player. I worked in an organization for a couple of years that you
kind of had to be.
You surrender your individuality for the the good of the team.
Yeah.
There is no team. There is no I in team.
God knows how many microchips you have inside you right now.
Yep. So it's always watching. Always watching.
Hi guys.
And I appreciated the effort, but it felt very let's do this because we're supposed to do it.
Not really knowing what it was.
Yeah. And I don't immediately feel a need to just talk with other affiliates in the area about like what they're doing well.
I imagine it's a very it's not that different from the affiliate owners group on Facebook.
I'm not on it. Is it?
It's sometimes there's nuggets, but for the most part, there's just kind of like
people talking to hear themselves talk.
Yeah.
And ironically, as we sit here on a podcast to talk to hear ourselves talk.
It's true.
But I don't feel this urge to give an hour and a half of my week for that.
Yeah.
And I know maybe that sounds selfish. Maybe there's maybe we could offer something. I don't know. And so I'm on the fence. I struggle with it, but I appreciate the effort, right? Like that. Okay, cool. That's a nice thing to have done, because there is worth in, right? Like
it's a thing that maybe we don't find use for, but it's nice to have for it supports. There are people that it supports, and
I hope it's working for them. I feel a little bit like John Cusack in Grosse Point Blank, when the Dan Aykroyd character is trying to get him, John Cusack, to join their little guild. Yeah. And he's like, no, I did the lone gunman thing because I like the lone gunman thing. Yeah. Look at the way I dress, right? Like, we opened an affiliate because we wanted to open an affiliate. Like, I feel like CrossFit, and I came from the school of 2007, 2008, 2009 timeframe when, you paid your $3,000 and you got to use the name. The rest is on you.
Yeah.
Right. You follow the level 1 manual. If you're an effective coach and you continue to serve the needs of the people who find you, you will continue to grow.
You will succeed.
Chase efficacy, chase quality. The money will follow.
Yeah.
that seems like enough explanation of if you try to chase all the shiny objects, AKA discounts and more members, and you're going to chase your tail and you're never going to get there. And yeah. So I've been thinking about this too. We were watching on Netflix, Chef's Table.
Oh yeah.
It's a pretty good show. And there was one about the Japanese American woman who opened Naka, I think was the name of her restaurant.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
She was awesome. But she said that like she realized that her personality was not a loud and domineering, like, tattooed up chef.
Right.
She's loud with her food.
Yeah.
And so like, I feel like our vibe is what it is because it's us and it's authentic to us. Mm. The affiliate group feels like there's a rounding of edges happening. Does that make sense? Like we need quality control. So we need to kind of best practices are these. Everybody needs to kind of fall in line.
Right.
If you want to be successful, this is what you should do.
Follow us. We'll show you what to do.
Right. And that so that is probably a true statement to an extent because there are certain just general business practices that are more sound than others. But there's also this really fine line between, like, it feels a very slippery slope between, as you said, as we were prepping, affiliate versus franchise. Yeah. It starts to feel a little franchisey.
Yeah. And
the next move is this on-ramp, the CrossFit on-ramp. Yeah. It has not gone live. It's not for public viewing, and I don't know where it goes or what it looks like yet. And on service, I appreciate it. How great would it be that if the person who shows up here already has a lexicon around the things we're talking about? Mm-hmm. And maybe that, 1 week online, 1 hour a day course that they took got them over the hump of like then showing up at your affiliate and doing your foundations in the way it is. But man, doesn't that start to sound a little bit like a franchise?
Yeah.
Right. Like you have to teach the snatch, though. You go to the level 1 and it says like there are points of performance. You go to the level 2, there are points of performance and cues, and you follow it, right? You follow the level 1 manual and the all that stuff. So we're kind of trained to teach the air squat the way to teach the air squat because it does have a universal response.
Yeah.
So okay. I'm struggling, right? Like this is what this is. I don't have an answer. I don't know. But
yeah, it's that whole thing. It's kind of but it's also, is that going to be something that deters? Well, people have a choice whether or not they can look at it or not. It's not going to be a thing they have to do to be able to come to an affiliate.
Right. It could be though. And that's, I think one thing we've made our, initial journey cleaner and clearer is like, unless you've done CrossFit or you're coming from another box or right, you've been at this 5 years and can tell real quick, you got the right shoes on. Yeah. When I say snatch, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. When I say we're going to do a 10-minute AMRAP, you say, awesome. Where's my board to keep track of my rounds? Like, okay, you don't need to do the foundations. Oh, yeah. Got it. Maybe just one.
That's when someone comes in and says they've been doing CrossFit. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, what have you been doing? It's like, yeah, I've been doing a few days and they're wearing like Nike running shoes. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah. Or ASICs. Yeah.
Was it a boot camp?
Yeah.
So it's not the same.
And it's like, we're going to do a burpee. Oh, the burpee. Is that the, like, okay, great. No, you haven't been doing CrossFit.
Yeah.
Like if
you have to ask me to explain the burpee.
When Andy showed up with a Diet Coke and knee sleeves in a plastic giant bag and a half and his old Innovates, and a pair of forged shorts and a shitty ass Jack's CrossFit t-shirt.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, you got it.
Knows.
Yeah, you know what you're doing.
He gets it.
So I don't know how I feel about this on-ramp, right? The CrossFit derived on-ramp. I have a feeling, like I have this sort of like gut feeling of, ugh, is this overreach?
Right.
Is this the slippery slope of like, in order to maintain, are they going to then, does this follow on to, there are level 1, level 2, and level 3 affiliates?
Right.
And so a level 3 affiliate has so many level 3 coaches, right, has uses the CrossFit on-ramp programming or on-ramp. And then the third thing that is happening is CrossFit is now programming. They are going to deliver.
Which they've been programmed. They've
They've always had
CrossFit,
CrossFit.com, but there was never a specific, you have to follow this plan. This is the class plan. Though training department would publish guidance on class plans and ideas and suggestions, which were always very helpful from a training standpoint. But in the end, it was like, no, you need to figure out what works for your population. Mm-hmm. This is generalized programming, GPP, for the worldwide audience. And now you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay, they surmise, about $150, but it's going to be done by the hand plan guys.
Which are all seminar staff.
Yeah, and they're good. Yeah. Austin is good. It's Austin, Maliolo,
James Hobart,
and what's the tall guy? Spencer Hendel.
Thank you.
Right, they've been around. They know what they're doing, and I'm sure they're already on SugarWOD. They already sell programming. It's called the Hand Plan. Yeah. People follow it. People get results. Gyms love it. Clearly, otherwise they wouldn't continue to exist. Mm-hmm. This feels a little franchisey.
Yeah.
But at the same token, is there a sense that, hey, it's kind of good marketing and branding of consistency, right? If I'm an affiliate and I'm meeting with other affiliates in my area and we are keeping the quality assurance of what we're offering at least in the same neighborhood across sort of our regional affiliates, and I'm using a standardized on-ramp program that alleviates a lot of the questions and concerns around an athlete's like concerns of starting. Yeah. And then when they get there, the programming, they can see it. If they go to CrossFit.com, it looks like the same programming they're doing in their gym with their people. And of course there will have to be variance. Coaches, you can't just plug and play. Like there will definitely be changes, and any good coach will be able to do that. Isn't that a recipe for a really successful affiliate?
I say, if anything, there's one thing it does is it makes it very easy for the affiliate owner.
Yeah.
Like it's a foundations and a programming. Here's two things that they don't have to spend a lot of mental energy on.
Yeah.
And they can focus on.
And they're price pointing it to be competitive with the others that are out there.
Yeah.
Right. So it's sort of that's what I mean, where I'm like, oh, I can kind of see the worth in this.
Yeah.
But I also see the worth in Amazon. I like Amazon. I love the ease of Amazon. It also scares the shit out of me. And I'm sure in 50 years, we're going to determine that that's the thing that caused us to destroy our world, right? Like the second you insert ease and convenience into a system,
you've just wiped out a bunch of,
you've inserted fragility.
Yeah.
Because now all of a sudden, that affiliate owner, those affiliate coaches, that affiliate population community didn't have to figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
So what happens when what is being offered does not serve their needs anymore?
Yeah.
How do they pivot?
Yeah.
And do they then go, feed me mothership, home office, feed me more? And right. So now you're all of a sudden tied to the nipple of the home office. And it's, oh man, like that scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
That because everywhere that feels to me, my experiences working with the big army, that people didn't know how to think for themselves. And I stood in front of a guy with a sheet of paper that I wrote authorizing me to authorize me to authorize me to draw class 6, or class 6 is weapons. I forget. Basic food and water for our compound, because I didn't fit the standard Army model in our deployment. So I had to, after like 2 weeks of banging my head against the wall with this guy, figure out what exactly he needed. And so I had to write this letter that basically made my square peg fit his round hole. And when it was all over, he took my 3 sheets of paper, he put them in a manila folder, threw them in a drawer, and then closed the little like roll down cage that he was talking to, and then opened the big garage and said, all right, sir, we're good to go. Come take what you want. And I was like, what just happened? Oh yeah. I just need that stuff on file. Like, your file is a drawer in a dust covered desk in the middle of the fucking desert. Are you kidding me? And I just had to let it go.
I wonder if that vial's still sitting somewhere.
I'm sure. No, I'm sure my
Yeah.
name is on there somewhere, authorized to draw MREs in fucking bottled water from some depot in Balad, right? Like that. But that, and I was like, oh, this is why this is such a bloated and ineffectual operation,
Right.
because nobody here is authorized to think for themselves. Nobody here has the training or the habit or the ability to see the problem and then just act. And that stemmed from the 3-star at the top all the way down to that E4, E3, who I wanted to choke out, but it's not his fault.
He's just doing what
he's just doing his job. He just wants to get home, right? He'd been there for 13 months and he was just ready to go home. And so it's sort of like, oh, all right. That's right. Like that's what I'm feeling in all of this, like sort of overreach versus where we reach out to Pat and Taz. They are an open market service. They are in the business of delivering quality product because otherwise they don't get paid. So they are an open market. CrossFit, this is where my fear is. It's open market right now. But what happens in 5 years, 3 years, 2 years?
Does CrossFit become the Amazon of programming?
Does your affiliate come tied with your affiliation fee is $3,000? We are also going to charge you an addendum of $150 for this, $250 for this, $300 for this. You can use it if you want to, but it is tied to your affiliate fee now.
It's like
they haven't said that they're going to do that. Right. Like
this is just it's the slippery slope, right? Like this is the thing that it's happened, not with CrossFit, but you've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Before.
Like that's the model of the Dunkin' Donuts and the Starbucks and the McDonald's. And that's the franchise model.
Well, it's kind of like we had talked about it early on. Cause remember at Old Bay, it was whatever, I don't know. Let's say it was $150 a month. And there was a barbell club. Barbell club was included in your membership. Well, I'm not using the barbell club.
Right.
Well, it's already built in. So can I have like the $30 back a month?
Yeah.
Well, no. But so what that does, it's like here's this thing, use it if you want, but you don't need it. It's built into the cost.
Right.
Or if I don't use it, I don't get that cost back then. Right.
Right. That's and so maybe that's what they start with because they don't want to charge anybody with it, but they want it to exist. And so, well, then why is my affiliate fee $3,000 a year? Can it just be $2,000? I'm not using the programming. I'm not using the on-ramp. I don't want it. And maybe they won't. They're really smart people. Eric Rose ain't no spring chicken. Like he's been around the block. He's started some amazing companies and he's doing great things. So I'm sort of like,
he's built big businesses.
He has, and he sold them, but he's also built big businesses that continue to serve their stakeholders and their shareholders. Right. And so it's sort of, maybe this is all unfounded, unnecessary worry around something.
I think it's one of those things that's good to just have in the back of your mind. Cause then it's like, where like when that does happen, where do we go?
Yeah. And I haven't watched a whole lot of, I know like Arm & Hammer immediately jumps on like, this is when CrossFit imploded, right? And like he does those, but I don't know.
His captions always catch me. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch it because he's trying to drag me in. I'm not gonna do it.
But he's pretty funny, and I wonder. I haven't watched. I saw that he commented on this.
He's super cynical too. Yes. Sometimes I'm like, I don't need more of this.
Right.
Yeah.
But he does. He often does a good job of them bringing back and saying sort of what I'm saying is like, hey, but this hasn't happened yet, right? So this is just me projecting and extrapolating worst case scenario. And so I take a page from his book and say like, yeah, this is just me probably worrying about nothing. But at the same token, like, Greg Glassman was a very tumultuous man and he created a lot of strife unnecessarily. But at the same token, he did a lot of things with an eye towards this is what a free market looks like. Mm-hmm. He was always willing to leave money on the table at the support or the defense of the affiliate model.
Yeah.
And in doing that, wholeheartedly pissed people off all the time. But I think what he created was a sanctity around the freedom of the affiliate to do what they want to do the way they want to do it in the name of CrossFit. As long as they were a level 1 certified coach, level 1 certified trainer, a level 1 certified trainer, coach is level 3.
Yeah. Coach
Certified
3,
level
yeah.
1 trainer, and had insurance and had a website, you could run Zumba classes if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Right? Like those are the only 3 requirements. And you wrote an essay. Those are the only 4 requirements to get your affiliation. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And yet built a worldwide global corporation of 15,000 affiliates strong with just those. Those are the only 4 requirements. Right. Those have not changed. CrossFit has not imposed any new requirements. There's nothing that says we have to use any of that stuff. But man, oh man.
Yeah. Is it what
they're building the scaffold to, at some point, like mission creep is a real thing. Mm-hmm. You don't see it coming, right? That's there's a saying, the banality of evil or something like that, but it's not that. It's like, it's that Star Wars scene. Like, this is the sound of freedom dying, not with something, but with applause. When
is that what, Captain Picard?
No, did I say Star Wars or Star Trek?
I'm making a
Star
bad
Wars.
joke.
But no, it was what's her face, Princess Amidala. Yeah, yeah, when they vote in the chancellor, right? And that's, I mean, it's a reference to Hitler coming to power. You know, he was voted into power, into being the dictator, whatever his term was. I'm not a Nazi Germany expert. That's the other guy I teach with. But that, and again, that was a big leap and an extremely dramatic association between CrossFit, home office, adding these 3 wonderful services.
But I mean, it's like,
right?
and again, this is us playing like this could happen, but it's a lot of the, it's a lot of the, it's just this, and then it's just this, and then it's just this, which, like, I feel like it's been the last year with a lot of things, but it's just this little thing here, and then it's just this little thing here, and then it's just a little thing here, and then those start. It's just becomes okay. Here's the thing now. This is it now.
And
this is what it's been, and so here we are.
Okay at every step, and so I'm curious. I'm curious to see what happens, and I'm also sort of hedging our bets of, like, all right, so what does that look like?
I'm optimistic that that's not where it's going.
Me too.
But it's just, but every time there's this like new thing, it's like,
and it's always couched, sold as, look at this wonderful service that home office is providing to you affiliates.
Look at what we're doing for you.
For you, right, right. And then, but wait, I have to pay for it though.
Yeah.
I already pay the affiliation fee.
Yeah.
And what if I don't want to use it? Am I now, right? Is there going to be this inner circle of affiliates that have access to other things? Yeah, but you have to have a programming.
We have to have our programming card.
You have to have your programming to have access to that. You have to have this to get access to that. That's a model, right? Like that is an inner ring model of so
Which, and I'm curious, because one thing that Arm & Hammer's always said is, like, the affiliates are such an I think you feel like maybe it was under Glassman, we're such an undervalued and underutilized, basically maybe revenue stream or something for CrossFit.
Yes. But only if you looked at it as this, that was Glassman's. He's like, I hear what you're saying. That's not our model.
Yeah.
The affiliate is not a revenue generating system for CrossFit.
Yeah.
They are the representation of the methodology, and they are the most effective way to spread that methodology to the most people. Yeah. But for the affiliate ecosystem to exist and live, it needs to be decentralized.
Yeah.
They cannot be required to do what I think is best from up on high in Santa Cruz.
Yeah. Because
he does not know and cannot know what an affiliate in Wuhan, China needs.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's for you. Let's say in Brazil needs, right? Like he can't know that. And
even then when I think of the differences, I interrupted.
No, that's yeah.
But like even the difference of what the people that come here need compared to the people that go to True Core need.
Exactly.
Because like it's funny when I was talking to my dad
the other day. We're
less
than 5 miles apart.
Yeah, I was talking to my dad the other day, and I was like, yeah, the morning classes are the busiest classes here. He goes like, really? I said, yeah, but flip flop it. And I don't know if it's the same or not, but at TrueCore, the evening classes were bigger because you're right off of 50. It's commuter.
Yeah.
It's easy to hit on the way home from work. People come here in the morning and then get home and get, they can get home, get cleaned up, and still get to work on time.
Yeah, they don't want to finish work, go to a place, drive by their house to come to a place to go back to their house.
Yeah.
They want to be done at the end of the day.
And so it's we're amongst neighborhoods, they're amongst off 50 amongst businesses.
Yeah.
And so and Glassman wouldn't know that from
Right.
sitting in his
But he
tower.
did know it instinctively that you need to decentralize the control and offer only a standardized requirement that facilitates uniformity of entry,
Yeah.
not uniformity of execution.
Yeah.
This feels like,
They're trying to formalize execution.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that, to me, from where we came from in our background, what
Yeah.
I've gotten used to scares me a little,
Uh-huh.
but I'm also optimistic and willing to kind of trust the system and the process and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're working hard and they're really good people, and they don't generally deliver crappy products. So, right? Like,
Yeah.
but it's just this trend. And that's a but.
I don't know.
I mean,
Thrusters are kind of crappy.
and there has been this trend of slow rolling, sort of rounding out the edges
Yeah.
of affiliate individuality.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that has kind of been like, well, that's weird. When I
Yeah.
saw the programming on the tail end of, or in the heels of the on-ramp class,
Uh-huh.
I was kind of like, huh. And
Yeah.
I've heard rumblings and rumors of like classifications of affiliates that you
Yeah.
can reach a certain certification level at
Yeah.
the affiliate level.
It's starting to sound like Scientology now. You think you get Tom Cruise in here?
So yeah,
That's
it's
the ball
interesting
manager.
stuff. And, and it all loops back to the beginning of this conversation. In the end, staying true to the original methodology, general physical preparedness, done well, and don't even have to do it that well.
Yeah.
done mediocrely from time to time, 5
But
to 6 days a
safely.
week, but safely, right? Mediocre, but safely, 5 to 6 times a week. People keep getting fitter.
Yeah.
Like that part of it just blows me away. The rest of this shit we're talking about,
Yeah.
it's such like, who really cares?
Yeah.
Like, does it really matter if we use CrossFit's on-ramp
For the
program versus our
population,
own?
probably not
No.
really.
Does it really matter if we use their programming versus? I'll miss Pat and Taz.
Yeah.
We're not leaving them.
Yeah.
But right, does it really matter? Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you
It's
go,
working.
folks. I hope you enjoyed us wasting 45 minutes of your time talking about absolutely nothing.
Because we love to hear ourselves talk. I hope you love hearing us talk as much as we love to hear ourselves talk.
My gratitude is this weekend. My buddy Don, Josh, he had a baseball tournament down at down by St. Mary's, down in St. Mary's County.
Yeah.
Like down at the edge of the world.
Yeah.
There, southern Maryland. You can't go much southerner before you hit the Chesapeake Bay and you're in Virginia.
Yeah.
And he came and watched the games on Saturday, and then he came back and watched the games on Sunday, and he brought his boys, and I got to meet his wife. And I mean, I've met her before, but it was many years ago, but we've been teaching together for like 6 years. And at first I was like, what are you like? I was a little surprised. I'm like, you're coming to watch, but like, you don't even know any of these people and stuff. What I realized was he just really likes baseball. He really likes sports, and he was actually really enjoying watching them play.
Cool.
And they played pretty well. Like, they was pretty fun games. But I was just like, that's really cool. Like that, the gratitude is watching somebody in action who really lives a life in the way that they say they are. Do you know what I mean? Like, he has said he just really likes watching sports.
Yeah.
He likes watching youth sports.
Yeah.
And he said, I probably am going to be coaching these boys because I just love it.
Yeah.
And he really did. If my kid's not playing, there are times Nicole and I are like, well, Josh isn't even playing. Why are we going to the game?
Yeah.
And I do like watching baseball. I would go,
Yeah.
I went to a handful of the high school games, even when Josh didn't play,
Yeah.
because they were really fun to watch.
Yeah.
But that was It was really impressive. So thanks, Don, for reminding me. Like, there is a beauty in just the aesthetic of a well-played sport. Like, it's a really cool moment, and
Yeah.
it was cool to watch it through his eyes. And I got a chance to just shoot the shit with him for like an hour and a half.
Cool.
Yeah. So
I said baseball too. It's such a on the surface, it's such a boring sport because like people have done the math. It's like, oh, there's only actually about 3 minutes of action over the course
I
of
don't
a
find it
2-hour
boring
game.
at all, actually.
But there's so many like there's so many like small intricate pieces to the game.
Yeah.
That's just like so anyway, yeah, it's a beautiful game. I'm gonna say mine's is Thor's hammer, Mr. Andy Hunt.
Oh, really?
Simply because I saw him yesterday.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Randomly, like at
so
something?
no, I had an appointment with
Christine.
well, I've been working with Brian. She's
Oh.
too busy for me, so she handed me off to her pawn, Brian. But Brian has been.
I met Brian.
Is,
Brian's pretty handsy.
Yeah, so I went in yesterday, and
you like those man hands digging into your soft parts, don't you?
He's got good hands. There's no soft parts here, not when he's on me. Anyway, click
That
me
was
not suitable for
awesome. Absolutely awesome.
But I went so and Andy simply just for introducing us to them.
Yes.
Because it's just when I think of like what my knee was doing, and I was concerned because I'm just like, is this old age or did I actually do something to it wrong? And working with Brian, knee feels a lot better. And then we're like, let's work on some other stuff. And some of the little things and some I've heard before, it's like, well, I should just do that. And then others have just been like, it all just makes so much sense. And so like, I enjoy going to him, but I walked in yesterday and I had on my no bulls with a pair of socks, and someone's laying on the table and goes,
your flip-flop no bulls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my flip-flops, and someone's laying on the table and goes, you know what I can't stand? When guys wear socks with sandals.
And it was Andy.
And I was just Andy.
Meanwhile, he does that all the time.
I'm sitting there like, man, shouldn't the bus be picking you up, taking you back to the home at this point now? It's late, man. But then of course, like it was good. But Andy for introducing him, because it's been great. Like I've had a great experience. I'm so happy for Soph, who was having issues with her knee, who someone told her she needed surgery.
Oh God.
And when they told her she needed surgery, I could see her eyes start to like,
yeah.
And she ended up going to Brian, and her knee feels so good now. Like no surgery. He's like, oh, I think this is what it is.
Yeah.
And has been working on her. And with that too, I think she's now because talking to her on the podcast last week too, she's got like a renewed sense of like training is fun again, exciting for her. Now she's like, I kind of want to. She's found that program. She's like, I kind of want to see like what move I can make. You know, because she's like, I made the. You know, she made the top.
Yeah.
She made the top 10% in a relatively competitive age group. There's some notable names in that age group.
Well, she's in the open.
She's in the
age, like she's in the. There is no age group.
Yeah.
She's open.
She's open, and so anyway, just Andy for introducing us to them, and then piggyback off that them, because it's just I love their approach on all of it.
If somebody was looking to try their services, what's the name of the?
It's FX Physical Therapy.
Sorry, Christine.
It's but we've got pamphlets right up here.
Pamphlets in the gym. Yeah.
And then I'm actually talking about Brian. So
Danielle Christensen.
Danielle Christensen.
Oh wait, no, Christine
Danielson. I'm actually talking to Brian, especially maybe in these next couple of weeks post summer solstice, is he's going to come in and do anyone that wants a movement screening to see if they have any flaws or anything like that.
Cool.
And things that like they could do to work on that. And then of course, like, hey, if you really want to work on it, go see Brian.
Yeah.
But so I don't know, it's some kind of cool. Like they've been great. I thought Severna Park was going to be like, that's a bit of a hike. You get out there pretty quick.
Yeah, you can go the back road.
So yeah,
you can go that first left onto the old Baltimore Annapolis thing and run up the trail. That's
my gratitude. Them.
It's a good one.
Andy.
Yeah.
And it was fun seeing Andy. And then of course there were jokes like, so he's laying on his back, and then Brian tells me I need to roll over on my stomach. It's like, do you mind if I just lay on top of Andy over there? And then like she works here, and you work here. It got pretty. It was pretty bad.
I'm sure they appreciate it.
I'm sure. Christine's sitting there like,
oh my God,
in a room full of idiot dudes.
My God. How did I get into this? Thanks, Andy. Thanks a lot.
Awesome.
Thanks for introducing us to this damn CrossFit box. All right, folks. All right. Yep, that was I don't know. I have no idea what we accomplished, but
We
Sure was-
accomplished getting a podcast done.
Yeah, sure was fun talking. So
Heck yeah.
we will see you
On the creek. Yeah.